Hey, Goddess. Welcome to our podcast. We are Wendy Lou and Angie Kay, two goddesses on a journey of awakening and embodiment together, traveling hand in hand through the trials and tribulations of this roller coaster ride we call spiritual awakening and ascension.
It was only a matter of time before we started our own podcast to share what we've learned along the way as energy practitioners and spiritual entrepreneurs.
Join us twice a month as we explore metaphysical topics, spiritual awakening, collective energy updates, spiritual entrepreneurship, the divine feminine and divine masculine, and all things goddess.
Our vision and mission is to provide a safe space to express the unspoken topics of awakening the divine feminine. Our desire is to heal the generations of shame, secrecy, and illusion that have shrouded the divine feminine teachings. So we hope you join us here on our podcast.
Hey, welcome to this episode of the Hey Goddess podcast, where we are talking about 2026 and all of the energy of 2026.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we survived 2025.
We did. Here we
Let's do
are,
it.
living, breathing, talking about it.
2026, we are. 2026 is going to be epic.
Absolutely. I just feel like we need to walk in though real slow and like don't look it in the eye, just
Do
like
not make direct eye contact. Don't try to make too many friends right away, y'all.
don't look at
Just
the
walk
fire
in
horse.
slow. Walk in slow, get a glass of punch, assess. Don't spook the fire horse. Oh my goodness, absolutely.
That's what it feels like a little bit. So, okay, so we've been tuning in just for the listeners here to let you know
As
we've
we
been
do.
tuning in for about 45 minutes talking about this before we hit record. And we're just going to start off with some of the highlights that we are getting so far. So, I was getting a sit tight energy. So sit tight energy was meaning not that you're not doing anything, but it's just that you're not chasing wherever you think something's not working, you're not switching and chasing something else. I know I'm guilty as charged of this, right? Where it's like, oh my gosh, this isn't working. So then I'll try six different other things. But that's not actually what's going on. 2026 is all about alignment. And it's not about these little things that we think like, oh, I have to change this because it's not working. And there's this other perfect thing that could be working, kind of shiny object syndrome. It's more about just waiting. So sit tight means you're waiting for alignment. Continue to do the things that you enjoy that have maybe worked at one point or another. Maybe they weren't working for a moment. That's okay. Just sit tight because the solutions are coming. The alignment is there. And then there's this energy of hopping on your wave when it comes. It's almost
Hmm.
like you're waiting in the water for the perfect wave. And it might take some time. Like some of them, some waves are, for those of you that have surfed or boogie boarded, some waves are mushy or they look like they're going to be good and they're not. So this one's all about alignment. But your wave is coming in 2026. It's just going to be different for everyone as far as timing is what we were getting. And I
Right.
loved what you were saying earlier about timing around like when it turns January 1. I loved what you were saying because I think so many of us think we have to jump on, you know, the whole I have to make
Right.
this
Go by the
resolution.
calendar.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. I love share
Yes.
what you were
So,
saying.
yeah, and especially the energy at the beginning of the year. Like here we are, we're recording this actually on New Year's Eve. And so whenever you watch this, if you're still in the beginning of 2026, it's like we have fallen into this trap of the Gregorian calendar and this and creating this society of productivity where we're never allowed to rest, right? And we've actually even gotten it backwards where a lot of people we go on vacation in the summer, right? When that's the most productive energy. And so at the beginning of the year, if you're still kind of in that programming of making a New Year's resolution on January 1st, just know that it might not be aligned for you during that time because we're still kind of as a society, as a humanity, meant to be hibernating during that time. It's still winter. It's still cold out for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. It's still very cold out. And so that's the universe telling us it's okay to stay inside. It's okay to not, be outside as much. It's okay to even eat more grounding foods, like, right, heavier foods. It's okay to even, put on a little bit of weight in the winter. That's our natural cycle. And so for the people who are trying to stay productive and like you were saying, trying to, it's almost like this, it's saying, don't give in to the pull toward chaotic hustle, right? Like chaotic hustle has its moments. Sometimes it can be really fun. Sometimes, when you're just getting stuff done and everything's lining up and you're checking the boxes. But I would say that at least the first 6 weeks of 2026 is still hibernation mode for most of us. Now, if you're feeling aligned to do big things, go for it. But we've talked about this before. Aligned action is huge. If you try to take action before it's aligned, you can do it, but it's going to be harder and possibly take longer. If you wait for it to be aligned, it can happen like that, right? Like in an instant. I can't snap, but the intent is
Got
there.
it.
Yeah. And then come mid-February, we're in the energy. The Chinese New Year is February 17th, I believe, is the first day. And it's the year of the fire horse, which we were talking about this last night. Like that's very dragon energy, right? I know it's not the year of a dragon. Don't come at me, but it's very dragon energy. It's very, fiery, obviously, but it's very fast, forward moving energy. So if it feels aligned, right? I'm not telling everybody just to sit tight, right? It's not going to feel right for everybody. But if you can just sit tight and wait for what do they call it? The swell, right? Wait for your
Yep.
wave. And come mid-February, I think everybody's going to be feeling this new energy coming in. We'll probably start feeling it at the beginning of February, I would imagine. At least I know Angie and I will be, because as we do, a lot of people feel it sooner. And so, but come mid-February, that energy is going to be fully here. And we're coming out of this kind of slow moving, staying close to the ground and year of the snake. Shedding the skin, staying close to the ground, staying safe, right? Sheltering, keeping things close, right? Like we were getting that message all of 2025 for so many people. If you
Hmm.
have something you're creating, don't go out, don't blab to the world just yet. Hold it close, right? That snake energy is all about like keeping your world close around you. And we're
Hmm.
coming out of that into a fire horse. It's almost like we're not going to get a transition. It's going to be very different energy. Or, we don't get like a whole year, right? Where it's like year of the fox, right? Where it's something in the middle. We
Hmm.
don't get that. And so we're going right into this fire horse. And I think that the time to move will come. And I think for a lot of people, if you try to do big things or do that, where you're go, 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 do, and it doesn't feel aligned, you're just going to be spinning your wheels. And why waste that energy? This is a great opportunity for more deeper self-care, for more rest. And I get it, so many of us have, like, I'm not saying, quit your jobs or whatever. I get that people have jobs and families and, I do as well. And so it's just a matter of really tuning into what it feels right for you right now. Like you said, 2026 is kind of individualized, at least at the beginning and probably most of the way through. I mean, we're in the same energy, right? We're all on the same planet, but we're all going to be finding our own footing at a little bit different time
Yeah.
during the year. So, but I would say give yourself a break until mid-February. Let yourself rest if that feels right.
Yeah. And some people their wave might come right away. So it's just a
Right.
matter of, it's kind of like just to circle around to sit tight and what you were saying together. It's like sit tight with what you've been doing. There's nothing wrong with what you've been doing. And I think so many people have been coming to me and, this is what I'm seeing out there, like working with clients and things, is people are saying what I'm doing isn't working right
Yeah.
now. And it's not that it's not working, it's building alignment. It's like it's working, it's just not in alignment yet. And so all of that hard
Mhm.
work in 2026, this is the energy of sit tight, is going to all of the sudden come together. And we saw that harvesting image, right? Like people were harvesting when we
Mhm.
actually opened the Akashic Records of 2026 together, and we saw people harvesting. And then I heard the sit tight, which was interesting because when you're harvesting, you're working. And I'm thinking, well, what does sit tight mean then? But it really just means like your harvest is coming. So all those things that
Mhm.
you've done actually are coming to fruition. So it's not about really, and of course we always are making tweaks and adjustments to make things better, but it's not about like
Right.
totally doing an overhaul on everything that you've been doing and taking it, and for some people it might be taking a new direction, but for a lot of people it's not overhauling everything. It's
Right.
maybe making some small tweaks, but it's not it's just realizing, it's more of a consciousness of realizing what you're doing is working. But think of the year of the snake. It's like the groundwork. Like what is the snake doing?
Hmm.
It's on the ground.
Hmm.
It's like you've been laying the groundwork for 2026 to
Love it.
take off with the fire horse, right? The passion, the creativity, the fast movement would be the fire horse. But the fire horse is
Absolutely.
a little bit more like a wave, is what we were seeing. It's like it's not that everybody gets on the horse and rides immediately, and maybe some people do, but a lot of people have to wait for their moment for the
Right.
horse to be ready, for everything to come into alignment. So yeah, so if you're resonating with sit tight, then sit tight. If you're resonating with run with the horse immediately, then that's for you. And everyone has their own timing. And I think that was the one of the really important things we were channeling for 2026 is don't get caught up in other people's timing. Everyone's timing is not your timing. And you can
Hmm.
trust your own timing, trust your wave. You can trust that you're gonna know. You're just gonna know.
Right. Even if you feel like you're the only one doing something, everybody else is in hibernation mode, that's okay. If it
Hmm.
feels good for you, go. Like there, I've heard other people say this before, but it's like these these types of insights and intuition and even tuning into the energy, it's not meant to control your life. It's just, or, to make the decisions for you. It's just meant
Hmm.
to show you what's coming. You have to decide for yourself where you're at in your life, if it feels right for you to move. And like you said, that wave might come in at any time. And when, you got sit tight and I had gotten, let it be simple. Let
Yeah.
2026 be more simple than 2025 seemed to be, right? Like I feel like 2025 messed with a lot of us, right? It messed with our heads. It was a lot of unexpected, unpredictable, kind of big stuff going on, not all good, right? Or not all, perceived good. And we were trying to figure it all out. And so I think it was really meant to be more of I mean, it was a year of transformation. That was my year, or that was my word for the year, right? And I think a lot of people would resonate with that. It was definitely a year of change and embracing a new you. And in order to do that, you have to let go of certain things. And I think even coming into like here we are New Year's Eve, there are things that are still being unraveled. And so that's why, and that's another reason too. It's like let those things unravel. But if you're starting to see the little glimmer, right, of the action, let it come to you. Don't try to, lunge forward toward it because we're still in that energy of the snake of, we don't have our legs yet, literally. We're staying close to the ground and we're still laying that groundwork. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And there was a lot of shedding. I mean,
Oh
how
my
many times have
goodness.
we talked about it? And even and I know on the last episode, we told you all about what we were going through with well, and we did find out
Our
we had a
post
mosquito
India.
virus. Yeah, our
Yes,
post-India mosquito virus that we went through. It did create skin peeling that we were going through. And it
literally.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was so literal to the snake. So maybe some of you have experienced some actual literal shedding experiences.
You can't make this stuff up. Like you really just
No.
can't. And it's yeah, once the more we dove in, I feel like the more we were like, wow, this is really not fun, but very aligned as far as what was going on.
Yeah.
It was like the forest fire, and the forest fires are awful. And I think I may have even mentioned this last time. They're awful, right? In when we from our perspective, from our human perspective, but what they do for the forest floor is regenerate it. And
Hmm.
10 years later, which is not going to be 10 years, right? But in 10 years, where we are 10 years from now, holy cow, like it's going to be amazing where we will be 10 years from now. But a decade later in the forest, the whole place is renewed, brand new
Yeah.
life, and the soil is more fertile and everything. So if you think of it as like a reset, but not just a reset to a much more fertile soil to bringing these things in.
Yeah.
And if you think you didn't do enough in 2025, just get that thought right out of your head. Let that thought just float right out because you did.
You
Anybody
did.
listening to us for sure did everything they were meant to do.
Yeah. And it was the groundwork, and that can feel like nothing's happening. And it's annoying. It can
It's
feel,
frustrating, yeah.
right? It's frustrating and can feel like you're doing so much work for no reward, which can, create some sort of level of burnout. So
Absolutely.
So if you're feeling any of that burnout from 2025, just take some time and reset right now. Like you're saying, we really don't. I think you said February 17th, we start the fire horse. So you have some time. If you're not resonating with, January 1 straight out of the gates, like neither of
Right,
us
right.
were. So
No,
we feel like we
because
need more
that's
time.
tomorrow. I'm going to be
Yeah,
sleeping.
that's tomorrow. Exactly.
Yes.
It's, and I feel I need more time too. I feel I'm still a little bit in the shedding, winding down from that, but I almost need a little bit of a transition between,
Hmm. Me
and
too.
and like I said, I've talked to so many people who feel like they really put in the work in 2025 and they just weren't always getting the results. Sometimes they were getting the more immediate
Right.
results,
Yeah. Like you and I definitely did have things
right?
happen. We
Oh, for
were
sure.
able to
Hmm.
create things and bring
Hmm.
things into
Yep.
reality, right? Like we both
Yep.
wrote a book
Right.
in
And one,
2025.
yes,
So
we did. You completed your book. You completed Parenting Through Ascension. I launched,
you published
got a
it.
fee.
Yeah.
I published it, launched it. Yep. Went
in
bestseller.
in amidst the chaos, we were still getting stuff done. But
We
it's
did.
we are such students of alignment, you and I. It's like we've learned. And like you said, we're guilty of also trying to move when it's not in alignment just because it might be something that we want really badly.
Hmm.
But yeah, we're learning. We're learning how to listen, how
Yeah.
to catch our own waves.
Yeah. For
So
all of life,
2026 is going to be big for that.
lifelong students of
Absolutely.
alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so easy to try to, if we think of the old energy, like I said earlier, that's so 2019, but really that's the old energy pre 2020 was, I know how to get this thing, and these are the steps that I take. And so I'm going to do step one, two, three, four, five, and then I'm going to get the thing. Well,
Right.
we're in post 2020, our world is made of water. We went from solid to water.
Mhm.
So things don't work like that on water. When we think about catching the wave, it's a completely different experience
Oh, I love
than
this
taking
correlation. Yes.
one, two, step one, two, three, four, five,
Right.
right?
On
Because we
solid
don't
ground.
have
Right.
control over the wave necessarily now. And the wave is
Yeah.
alignment, but it's more of a divine timing situation than a pushing and a forcing these five things to happen, right? So it's a different energy and we're all still getting used to it, I think. I'm always having to remind myself again because we're just 5 years into this completely new way of being. And of course,
Hmm.
we've all experienced that in the past too. I'm not saying that's completely new, but it's just like the old framework dissolved overnight. And there was really
Hmm.
no making that happen again, even though we remember it. Our body remembers it, our nervous system remembers it, our brain, our neural pathways remember it on some level. But it's like we
Right.
have to keep aligning with this new way of being, which is
Hmm.
really alignment is the only way to get there now. So
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
right. It's the most important thing that we can work on all the time is the alignment
Right.
piece.
And if
So
you think about
spending time
too,
getting
I'm
into
sorry.
alignment is going to take you much
Yes.
further in 2026 than spending time on taking steps one, two, three, four, five.
Right. And you got to think too, even if it takes you another month, what if pushing and forcing was going to take 2 months? If it takes a month for it to get into alignment and then it just falls effortlessly into place, then that was worth it. And so we are no longer in this energy of push force, right? And you've been teaching this for years, right? Moving from a masculine energy primarily into a feminine energy of movement and flow and water. That's what
Hmm.
we're going to be really experimenting with. And we talked about this last night too. It's like we may be, sending the pendulum to the other extreme, but that's how we find our sweet spots
Yeah,
when we're
that's how we get in
experimenting with the
balance.
new energy. Absolutely. That's how we find the balance. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So 2026, all about balance, all about this alignment is the only thing that's going to work.
Right.
So allow yourself to relax. It's like let your nervous system relax into the knowing that now alignment is the only thing. And sometimes that makes people
Mhm.
really nervous, actually,
Right, I
because
know.
they're thinking, but I knew how to do all the things before. And I can't tell you how many people constantly also say, in the last 5 years, nothing works like it did before
Right.
because it doesn't. And it's not
Yep.
supposed to.
It's a whole
That was a
new
complete
world.
clearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you would always say, and I loved it because we've been doing these. updates for so long before pre-2020. We've been doing these together,
We
not on the
have, yeah.
podcast, but
Long before the
on
podcast.
YouTube or
Yeah.
sharing them on Facebook or going live on Facebook. You always would say in 2019, 2020 is about 2020 vision. You
Hmm.
would say it all the time. And really that, I mean, if you think about the correlation to that, then that's what it is. But it's about seeing that things were not working and seeing what
Hmm.
wasn't working, shedding it like the snake now, right? And then moving into things that are only going to work with alignment. And that's the only way things are going to continue to work and move forward.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Yep.
you'll just stay stuck in places in your life. If you want to just spin the wheels and take the prescribed way of moving forward all the time, it's not going to work.
Right. And letting go of really any aspect of your life, right? Letting go of what worked before is really important. And I know a lot of people are in resistance to that because, like you said, a lot of us were in a sweet spot. A lot of us felt, before 2020, we're in a spot where things were working and moving ahead. And then all of a sudden, the universe threw us a curveball. And I also was thinking about too, you think about one of the sayings during, the all the lockdowns and all those things, that whole time period is one of the sayings was getting back to normal, right? Everybody wanted to get back to normal. And that did not feel aligned to me at all from the beginning. It's like letting go of that. And I noticed not people, no, people don't say that anymore, right? Because I think everybody had to come to terms with the fact that it was never going to be the way it was before COVID. I mean, let's just be honest. And we've talked about this so many times. COVID was a huge humanity activation of like human level, worldwide activation of bringing in this new world. And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to diminish, the bad things that it brought, right? The losses and everything. But overall, this was a push into this new reality that we're in right now. And so, yeah, it's definitely about, and we did get kind of, I feel like 2025, even though it's hindsight, right? I
Hmm.
feel like 2025 was our transition year to create and to start, really cultivating things that we wanted to bring in, bigger things, right? Like, yes, we wrote books, but we got bigger things that we're going to be building, right? And more books, but even bigger, like entities, right? That, things with bigger energy. And so 2025 being a snake makes me think of, okay, maybe that was kind of our transition year. We just couldn't see it in the moment, right? And that's okay. But like I said, we did everything we were meant to do. We have laid the groundwork. You have laid the groundwork, right? You listening, watching. And 2026 is going to allow you to build on that now. So
Yeah.
it's going to be, and again, maybe not till February. Oh, and I was going to bring up too, it's like, and even apart from, I'm not supposed to touch my cords, even apart from the Chinese calendar, there's this whole other, perspective of the New Year is actually right the end of March, early April, but right around April 1st is our old calendars had that as the New Year because that's spring. That's the everything's thawed and you can go outside again and you can, without bundling up, 6 layers. And so a lot of people celebrated on April 1st, which the interesting story behind that is there's a reason they call it April Fool's Day, because when they switched, and I do believe it was the church that switched it, when they switched, there were people who were like, no, we're going to keep celebrating on April 1st. And everybody else who just blindly followed, the ruling body of the time made fun of them and called them April Fools. And so that's where that comes from. And it's so funny that it's still alive and well. And it's always been my least favorite day. I really hope we get away from using it the way we've been using it, right? But it's really around that time really is the first of the year. And so even if it gets to the middle of February and you're not feeling your wave yet, that's okay. We really want everybody to understand that you have to do what's right for you, not what's right for your neighbor or your sister or your bestie or, if oh, but they're moving, that doesn't mean it's your time to move. And that's okay.
Yeah. I think that's important. Yep. Stick
Definitely.
with your alignment. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. And then we were talking about following the cycles too.
Mm.
And so I love what you're saying about because I would really resonate with starting the new year on April 1. I
Right?
think
Me
it would
too.
just be so refreshing because every time we start the new year, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the dead of winter. And then, it's the end of Christmas, and then we're just going into the new year, which it always
Right. But
feels
this
really
doesn't make
odd
any
because
sense.
yeah, it's not like you can really hit the ground running. There's ice everywhere and it's
Right.
cold
The energy
in
is
most
has not
places,
changed,
not
right?
everywhere, but yeah.
Right.
So I love the idea if we could, that would feel really good if we could just make
I know,
April 1st.
right?
I might just personally do that, make April 1st my new year.
Yeah, why
And
not?
then it would be easier for me to follow the cycles that way because I feel like I could just, yeah, hit the
Right.
ground
And then if
running
you
on
think
April 1st.
summer is really meant to be the most productive, because we build up and then we start to build down toward winter again. And so it's
Hmm.
like spring, you get going, you get find your feet again and you get moving. Summer, you really get things done. Fall, you start to wind down again, but you're like completing things, right? That's the harvest time, right? Although
Yeah.
we're seeing that energy of for the whole year for people, different groups of people, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
The autumn comes and that is the harvest time. That is the time to reap what you have sown. That is the time
Hmm.
to collect the abundance, to embrace the abundance, and to sit and relax and enjoy it, right? Not
Yeah.
not hibernating yet, but wrapping things up. So yeah, the
Hmm.
cycles are huge. And there's really no, like I said, you can go against the grain if your wave comes in, right? And I don't even love maybe saying against the grain, but if you're feeling like moving and nobody else is, then move, right? And that's right for you. But there's still these larger cycles that are going on the planet that really do affect us. But there are always going to be those outliers, right? That are like, oh, well, January 1st, I really am feeling, this huge wave coming in that I'm going to move really fast on January 1st. Great, go for it. We want you to. We want you to jump on your wave because it's only going to help the collective. We want everybody to catch their wave. So, and you can't miss it, to be honest.
Hmm.
If you feel like you missed it, it's coming back around. I promise.
Yep. Yeah. You can't miss what's for you. Definitely.
Exactly. It's already there. It's already yours.
Yep. And I feel like there's been such a big portal since 11/11 that we've been in, and I've
Oh
talked
my
about
God.
it until, and I feel like there's some wrap up around that on 111. So those two
Mm.
like just felt really big to me, and I kept seeing those numbers. And even I had taken a picture at the hotel of room 111 when Wendy and I were at the
Mm.
hotel in India. I don't know why, but I found it today. So I just thought, oh, that's crazy. So
Interesting.
I have this
Yeah.
this picture of the hotel room 111. I kind of want to stay in it.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like if whatever happened with any of you on 11/11, and you can catch our 11/11 video and see if anything resonates of what's happened in the last couple of months for you, I feel like there's a completion of that around 111, and maybe even a launching off, like you're saying, into the new energy, into the new year around that date.
Sure.
So yeah, so I think that I even want to go back and watch our 11/11 video because so much has
Right.
happened
What did we
since
say?
we filmed that. We filmed it before
Yeah.
India, and then we really went through a lot of things since then. And of course, that was a huge
Mhm.
upgrade for us being in India and receiving everything we did there. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go back and listen to it. And
Not a bad idea.
yep, I'm getting 111 is going to be a launching point for some people into the like their alignment wave is coming
Hmm.
111, or something is coming that is an opportunity or a meeting,
Yeah,
or
I
you
like
might meet a
this.
person. Yeah, something, some piece of a puzzle that you've been waiting for could be coming in that window. And that could be a few days before and after. Of course, it doesn't have to be right on
Right.
11/11, but there's some
One
piece of your
111. Yeah.
puzzle of the groundwork that you laid from 2025 that's coming on
I love it.
111, in or around. I love it too. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because that's coming through strong. And thinking back to what happened on 11/11, there is a tie-in there. So a tie-in from things you might have experienced on 11/11 or in or around 11/11. Wendy and I were in India up until 11/11. So that was right around the time that we were getting home from
Hmm.
India and just getting like going through the jet lag and everything that we were going through, and then
Yes. Yeah.
straight into experiencing a mosquito virus, which neither of us have ever had. So, so yeah, that's an interesting portal to think about what's happening on 111. So yeah, something that is, it's almost like even a glimpse, if this makes sense, to make you know that you're on the path.
Yeah.
And
Good.
it could seem small, you might overlook it, but it is something, pay attention because it's something that makes you
Right.
know, yes, all of that groundwork I laid, it is happening. The wave is coming,
Beautiful.
even if the wave doesn't come that day or that week, it's coming. So it's like those little breadcrumbs, which is awesome. So yeah,
Good.
I was
Good.
wondering about 111 this morning and why I saw that image
Mhm.
so randomly on my phone.
And I feel like for some people too, because I'll just piggyback on what you're seeing, is I'm seeing too for some people that that is going to come in the form of right around 111, you're going to realize that you let go of something that you didn't even realize you'd let go of. So it's almost like you'll realize that, oh my gosh, I that is gone. Like that is out of my life. And maybe a test will come, a small test will come in and you'll be like, I don't even want that anymore. And you'll have the space for new stuff to come in. It's a beautiful realization. And like you said, it doesn't have to be huge. It might just be, oh, a last level of maybe an old friend or something that left. Like maybe it was traumatic at the time, but now you're letting go of that last layer
Hmm.
of something that was keeping you in a lower place, or keeping you from moving forward and keeping you from creating the life that you want. And, ultimately we're holding on, right? And so it's realizing that, oh my gosh, I did. And I love it when that happens too. Sometimes it's been like 6 months later and I'll go, I let go of that. Like I haven't even thought of that in 6 months. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful. And like we're saying, don't come at us if it's not on 111, it'll be right around there. Because
Yeah.
the universe doesn't really care what our calendars say, to be honest, to the minute, right? Even though
Hmm.
I know we do a lot of things in that way, but that's really just for our human brains to process things and, to create rituals and everything, which are beautiful. But yeah, right around 111, it's going to be big. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, you could let go of huge whole relationships or jobs, I'm getting.
Right,
Things that
right.
have been a part of your life for a long time could be releasing right around that time. So it is just an indicator of your alignment. So even if it
Hmm.
be, I mean, like anything, even if you feel grief or sadness around letting that go, it is showing you that this is a path forward in your alignment, everything that you've planned and been doing. I mean, longer than 2025, but 2025 was such a digging the garden groundwork sort of
Hmm.
year, which, it was kind of like, why are we back here? Weren't we
Right,
doing this? Weren't we
right.
doing
Like
this before?
again?
I was frustrated by it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like
Where's the garden I
I found
planted
that
before? Like,
right. I found that really frustrating because it was like,
yeah, me too.
hell, for so many years I felt like we did this and like, why are we back in this energy? But I
Right.
think it was just a testament to what this year is going to be like the fast moving fire horse energy required
Mhm.
that strong foundation, or you wouldn't be able to run fast with your fire
Right.
horse
Yeah.
without building it. So it all makes sense now. It just, I remember being so frustrated so many times
Right. Like,
around it.
why do I feel like I'm starting from ground zero? Like I got to plant
Thank
seeds
you.
again?
Yes,
That's,
ground zero is what it felt like. But
yeah.
it wasn't. I mean, I think we can all agree it wasn't ground zero. We were building off of something that had been built
Right.
before, but it was like, why did we have to? I don't know. I guess
Yes,
I'm
I
a little
get it.
bitter still. Like, why did
Yeah.
we have to rebuild so many things? But
Because it was
that's
hard.
that's probably me
2025 was
personally,
really,
unless someone
and
else is resonating.
2025 was really challenging. Like there was a lot of processing and
Yeah.
transformation and accepting and allowing and surrendering. So for me, surrendering went next level in 2025, and I was already being asked to do it to a whole new, degree by the
Hmm.
beginning of that year of this year of 2025. And so I kind of hit the ground running in that, like, oh, I need to surrender to it all.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
yeah, like I feel like I hit a new level of it. But so if you resonate with that too, yeah, we're right there with you. We went through the ringer in 2025 as well. And so we're really looking forward to 2026 being a year of creation, of actually bringing things into fruition, right? Like
Hmm.
bringing things into reality and starting. And it almost feels like finally and actually getting in the driver's seat of our mission, right? Like, okay, I can actually
Thank
turn the
you.
key now.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And what was
Yes.
strange, and I don't want to, I really don't want to slam 2025 because I had some
Right.
amazing things happen in 2025 that
Me
were
too.
mind blowing. Yeah, you too. But it was almost like the contrast of things was stark
Right.
because it felt like
A little
just a lot
bipolar.
of work. It felt like a lot of work. And really, I
Yeah.
understand alignment and everything, but it was like, it was required that year for some reason to put in it was aligned action is what I'm saying. It
Mhm.
was aligned action. And so then of course it doesn't always feel like work. And at the same time, it wasn't bringing those immediate results in for a lot of people. And so that's a little bit why it felt like, well, maybe it's not aligned, but it was. And that's the
It
point. I
was.
think that's
Yeah.
the message here. It was aligned. And I think everyone was questioning that, including me a lot of times. But then
Right. Me
would have
too.
like the most amazing thing happen all at the same time. So it was kind of like, wow,
Right.
a little bit like a yo-yo sometimes on 2025. So,
Very much so. I remember saying bipolar a few times. Like the year
thank
felt
you.
very, because we would have one month that was just really, really hard and felt heavy. And then the next month would feel a lot better. And then right to heaviness, it was like it was an ebb and flow like
hmm
never before. It wasn't really flowy. It was more like up the mountain, down the mountain, up the mountain, down the mountain. So yeah,
hmm
it was
Yeah.
quite a year, and I know everybody would probably agree. I can't think of one person in my life who might say, "Oh my God, 2025 was so easy." I
Yeah.
can't
No,
imagine.
easy is not the description for
Easy was not the
2025.
word. No.
Rewarding, yes. And I think all of that's paying off in 2026. Not
Right.
easy. No, it wasn't easy
Mhm.
breezy.
No, but I like the word for 2026 being alignment because
hmm
that feels better, right? It feels lighter. It feels easier. I'm going to say it doesn't feel easy because it's not always easy. Sometimes we talk ourselves out of, is it an alignment, right? Like because
Yeah.
of trauma or because of baggage. And so there's always going to be healing. Like, I hate to break it to people, but as long as we are in this human experience, we're always going to be healing things. We just get better at it and we get better at preventing things from cementing into our energies, right? And from creating
hmm
long-term trauma, right? And so we get better at that. But we're always going to be evaluating that, right? Like, okay, why did this bother me? That kind of thing. But we are getting better at it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and we're always moving into higher levels of consciousness. And so
Right.
whatever doesn't work anymore at another level, we can just call healing the resistance to move
Yeah.
into the next level of consciousness, which, consciousness creates our reality. So anything you're asking for,
Mhm.
anything that you're desiring, that's just on another level of consciousness, right? So then
Right.
you're releasing anything through healing that is not in alignment. So it could be a belief that you don't even remember having, it's completely unconscious.
Right.
So then you
Right.
have a memory of, oh, yeah, that's when I created that belief that releases. That's essentially what healing is. It's just
Yeah,
removing the things that are not in alignment with where you're going, and you're always going on an upward spiral of
absolutely.
consciousness. You can't stop it. It's the nature of the universe.
No, it's
So
you're
if we
right.
want to say, yes, you're always healing, and actually, no, you're not always creating things to heal, and which you can do, and that can be an addictive situation. It's
Right.
not that. When you're truly working in alignment with things, not looking for things to heal, things will just come up.
hmm
And like you said, it
And you'll
gets
see
easier and
them.
easier because
Right.
you don't really have to think about it. You don't have to search for anything. It'll just appear a trigger, whatever
hmm
an emotion, it'll flow through. It's just emotion. It's not you. It's just an energy moving through you, right?
Right.
It just needs to release. It was just stuck somewhere in the energy field, and it doesn't work with the consciousness that you're heading into.
Right. And we're in a place now where we're not going to let these bigger things stick, right? And you may let something small stick if it's, related to something very close to you, but not for very long. You're going to see it, you're going to be aware of it, and you're going to deal with it. You're going to
Yeah.
confront it because we're in, especially in fire horse energy. I can't imagine much being able to get in our way. Like we're just going to be burning through the path. And it's not
Mm.
forever. It's the Chinese year of 2026, and then I don't know what's after that. I should have looked what's 2027, but it's really just to get us going. And so it's not going to be 2027 is not going to be bad because it's not a fire horse. It's going to be the next phase, right? The next phase of creating the world that we want. that works for everybody. I always say that's the world we're creating that works for everyone who lives on it, not just
Yeah.
1%, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Awesome. Well, I feel like we hit everything that was coming through for 2026. So
I'm
we
excited.
can
It's going to
wrap
be
it
great.
there. Yeah, we can wrap it there. So just recapping for a second, sit tight. You're not missing anything.
Let it be
Alignment is the
simple.
word. Let it be
Alignment is the word.
simple. Yep. And follow your wave, follow your cycle. Doesn't matter what anyone else is doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's the wrap up. I think that's powerful.
Happy New Year according to the Gregorian calendar.
Happy New Year. Yeah, well, 2026 is starting tomorrow. So
Right. And we'll see you in
from the
2026.
recording, yeah. Happy New Year. Bye,
Happy
goddess.
New Year. Bye, goddess.